Christina Long, and this is a time for our community to come together as one. It seems like December has given Wawasee area some tragic blows. We've lost Kim and Stephen Conrad, Jeff Rostachek, Anna Bernard, and Nina Arthur. We want to use this time to allow others to honor and to remember those whose lives that have been tragically lost over the last weeks. I personally would like to share a few things about my friend Kim. I first knew Kim as a fellow colleague at Syracuse Elementary and later as a kindergarten teacher to our daughter, a coach, a real estate agent, and most importantly, my friend. Kim had the ability to make you feel that you were the most important person in the whole world. She worked hard and gave much to so many, often sacrificing Kim time to make sure that others were getting what they needed.
I couldn't believe how Kim got so generous. If it took some money to come up with at a closing, she did it. And you know, she was just that kind of person. I remember being in some transactions where she, you know, we were not quite together. She says, Harlan, we can make this happen. We did. We all pitched in a little bit, and it was wonderful.
I'm Jeff, and I tried to play softball. Probably was not the best on the team, but Jeff made me feel like I was special. He made me feel like I was the MVP on the softball team. I was a catcher and I didn't catch any ball that was thrown to me, but he still made me feel like I was something to be worth. And I just saw him a month ago, and he still called me out by name. He still knew me. He still knew what I was up to. And Jeff made me feel like I was worth it at 8 years old, but still.
And she just was the bright star. She looked at kids like they were always so special. And that no matter who you were or what you were like, she was going to accept you for what you were. She didn't have no bad word for anybody. So I thought it was really ironic that my daughter had her in kindergarten as one of her first years. Then later in life, she had my granddaughter, who was also my daughter's daughter. So, and I just spoke to Kim about 2 weeks ago, and we were talking, and she made a comment to my daughter-in-law 2 days before her accident and said, I still remember Tasha's accident. And it hits me every time I see an accident. And she says, I hate accidents.
Jeff Rostachek, back when my girls were small, playing softball, coaching on the T-ball fields there in Webster. I always knew we had a lot in common. He had 4 girls, I had 4 girls. Kind of felt like we could have each other's backs. And he was the type of guy that had each other's backs. He always was there for people and so forth as we moved to Syracuse. I know most about him is that she never thought about herself. She always put herself in the shoes of her clients and her students. And at all costs, time and time again, she'd come back and she'd tell me, Ken, I'm not going to make any money with this deal. I've already waived my costs. I've actually been paying to make a deal work. Time and time again, she'd come to me and she said, you know, I don't know where to go here. I'm paying these people's rent, and it's been for a while. And she said, I just can't see them not having a place to stay. And she continually pulled out of her pocket money to make things go around.
I had the privilege of watching Stephen grow up and play golf at our golf course. And just the dedication and the joy that he took in playing and the goals that he had. And he achieved many of those goals. His successes play golf locally and on the state level. He always played with these folks, much, not nearly as skilled as he, but just truly enjoyed it and gave a lot back to these people. And every single time after a round that Stephen played with these folks, they would always come to me and they'd say, wow, not only is he a very talented golfer, but he is just such a nice individual and so much fun to play with, and they just truly enjoyed it. And I think that's a good testimony to the young man that Stephen grew into, and certainly to his folks. And I didn't know Mr. Rostachek well, but he was the assistant coach with the girls golf team, and I got to observe him, especially with his daughters, down on the putting green and helping them. And it was very obvious that he enjoyed it, he was good at it, and they had just a special relationship. Having a daughter, I just really enjoyed watching them and their interaction. Just really nice folks.
Just had a smile on her face, and her smile was just so contagious. You know, I was just always happy to be around her, and I guess the most I can remember from her, no matter where I ran into her, she was always on the phone. Her job was very demanding, but one thing that she always did, no matter what, I would run into her at the most random places, and she would stop talking to that person on the phone and say hi, to see how I was doing.
And she had the greatest personality of anybody that I've ever worked with. She was a lady from go. And all the time I was here, she was just one great person. And I drove through a lot of snow and ice tonight to get here. And I would say it's worth it just for me to get up there and say what I thought of Kim. That's all.